Welcome to The Explainer. Sometimes the most modern problems have the most ancient solutions. And today we're going to crack open a text that's thousands of years old to find a blueprint, not for a building, but for an entire nation. It's about building with values, not just bricks.
So let's just dive right in. The whole thing starts with this huge question facing the ancient Israelites. I mean, picture this. You're standing on the edge of the promised land. You're looking out at your future, and you have to decide, right then and there, who you're going to be as a people. I mean, think about it. For 40 years, their whole life has been about survival in the desert, a life of total dependence. But now, they have to become builders. And that's where these two final biblical portions, Matot and Masei, come in. They basically lay out a roadmap for this exact shift from, just wandering around to actually building a nation.
All right, so let's set the stage. We're talking about a nation at a massive crossroads. This isn't just any old turning point. It's the moment, They're caught right between this long past of wandering in the desert and the huge task of building a real society from the ground up.
And the stakes are incredibly high. Why? Because the last generation, they failed this exact test. You might remember the story of the spies. Total disaster, a failure of nerve. So this new generation, they've got everything to prove. They have to show they can move past being a people of crisis and complaint and become a people of purpose and real commitment.
So you might be wondering, where do you even start with a transformation that big? Well, the blueprint doesn't kick off with some grand sweeping law. Nope. It starts with something much more personal, something each of us has. It starts with our words. The text brings up this idea of a netter, which we translate as a vow. But this is so much more than just a casual promise, like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. It's treated as a sacred act, a commitment that's so binding, it actually shapes your reality, your character. The whole idea is that in this new nation, your words have to mean something. They have real, tangible weight. And this is hammered home with this one simple, powerful line. Think about it. This is the absolute bedrock of a functioning society. If people's words don't mean anything, you can't build trust, you can't build anything at all, really. Your word is your bond. This is square one for any kind of responsibility, personal or national.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about blind adherence to your word. The text creates this incredible balance. Yes, your personal vow is sacred, but it's not absolute. If you make some promise that actually ends up harming the community, the leaders can step in and nullify it. And that's a huge statement, right? It's saying that your personal integrity is crucial, but it has to operate inside the larger framework of what's good for everyone.
And that idea leads us directly into one of the most timeless struggles there is, something every society, even today, has to deal with. It's that classic tension, me first or we first. So you've got the tribes of Gad and Reuben, and they basically bring this whole dilemma to a boiling point. They find this amazing piece of land, perfect for their livestock, east of the Jordan. And they go to Moses and say, hey, this is perfect for us. We're good. We want to settle down right here, right now. The problem? The rest of the nation hasn't even started the fight for their land yet. And Moses' response is just brilliant. It lays out a core principle of this whole national blueprint. He strikes a bargain. He says, okay, you can have this land, but there's a condition, and it's a big one. Your warriors, he tells them, have to cross the Jordan first and lead the charge in battle for the whole nation. Only when that collective job is done, when everyone has their share, then you can come back and enjoy your private inheritance. It's a crystal clear message. National duty comes before personal gain. All right, so from there, the blueprint takes this idea of responsibility and applies it to two areas that are, let's be honest, incredibly difficult for any nation: war and how you remember your own history. The real challenge here is, how do you stay moral when things get messy? So check out this detail from the war against Midian. The army isn't led by some five-star general, it's led by Pentus, who's the son of the high priest, a spiritual leader. And that's not just a random fact. The message is unmistakable.
Even when you're fighting for your very survival, morality has to lead the way. The spiritual leadership has to guide the military action. It's not just about if you win, it's about how you win. And then there's this part of the text that can seem kinda boring at first. It's a list of 42 different places where the Israelites stopped over those 40 years. You might think, who cares? But there's a profound point being made. History isn't just one random thing after another. By listing these stops, the text reframes the entire journey. It wasn't just aimless wandering or a long failure. No, it was a purposeful journey, a curriculum almost, designed to take them from dependence and crisis all the way to maturity. So by stepping up and embracing their mission, this new generation is doing something incredible. They're actually healing the trauma of their parents' failure. They are actively demonstrating that they've learned the lesson, that they've moved beyond the fear and the lack of faith that held the last generation back. In short, they're ready. Okay, so we've got these different pieces of the puzzle, right? Responsible words, putting the group first, moral leadership in conflict, and learning from your past. So the big question is, how do you fit all that together to actually build a society that's not just powerful, but also just and fair? And this is where the blueprint offers up a truly radical idea, especially for that time in history, the cities of refuge. These were actual physical sanctuaries. If you killed someone by accident, you could run there and be safe from, say, a family member seeking blood revenge. And this was about way more than just legal procedure. It was a national lesson in stopping cycles of violence. It was designed to teach everyone, in the most powerful way possible, that every single human life is sacred and must be protected. So let's put it all together. When you connect all these dots, what you get are these 5 fundamental pillars for building a nation. It starts small, with your personal integrity, the power of your word. Then it expands out to the idea of collective duty over self-interest. It demands moral leadership, even in war. It insists that you learn from your historical journey. And holding it all up, the foundation for the entire structure is the unbreakable sanctity of life. And the ultimate takeaway from the text is that a healthy nation isn't built by choosing one good thing over another. It's not justice or mercy, the individual or the community. No, the real work, the hard work, is in blending them together. It's about integrating these things that seem like opposites. And that messy, constant, difficult work of integration, that is what true leadership is all about. So we're left with this blueprint that's, 3,000 years old? And yet the challenges it addresses feel like they could be ripped from today's headlines. Which leaves us with a pretty powerful question to think about. It's not just about what they did back then. It's about us, right now. In our own lives, our own communities, our own nations. Are we still building with it?